and welcome to the third tutorial in the series. This video we are going to learn about data types. So data types are not only limited to C++ but are also very important to other programming languages such as Java, Python, C Sharp, etc. But I will be talking about it from the perspective of C++. So what is data type? The data type is usually what is used to define a variable in C++. Now, if you are confused about what a variable is, don't worry, I will be making another video, which will be the next one, entirely on discussing variables. But today we are not going to do any programming. It's just the explanation of one of the most important concepts of programming, which is data type. I have a couple of tables here in MS Word, which I would like to go over in today's tutorial. So the first table is the different types of data types and the keywords that we use to indicate them or use their functions in C++. So the first one is Boolean, which is indicated by the keyword bool. The Boolean usually has just two values. It stores either true or false. There is no other possible value of Boolean which it can be used for. The other one is a character, which is denoted by the word char. I like to call it char because it's easy to remember and I don't know, has a nice ring to it. Char usually stores one of the alphabet either in the lower or upper case, and when you declare it you have to use single quote marks, these ones, to declare a variable in char. The third one is the data type integer, denoted by int. It usually stores both positive and negative integers within a certain value. The other next one is floating point, which is denoted by float. So if you want to store a decimal value such as a fraction, or let's say pi, which is 3.14, you need to use float and store the decimal value in float. So let's say if you want to be more precise and accurate with the value of pi and you want to store it to, I don't know, 10 or 12 decimal places, then you use the double. Double has the same properties as float but is just a bigger value. It has a bigger range and a bit big in size. And the last one has no value, which is called void. If you remember, we use void when declaring the main function. We type in void main. So why we use void is because the main function does not return any value by itself. We put in statements such as cout and then use get ch to show it on the output screen. Otherwise we have to go in the Windows on output option. So we can use the data type like integer or float to declare the main function. Then we have to use different kinds of statements to show the output, which we will be learning further down the road in the coming up tutorials. So these are all the data types which we will be using for programming. So all the data types have a bit width and a range. There are also 4 types of data type modifiers, which are unsigned, signed, long, and short. So these are the 4 data type modifiers which are used to modify the range of the data types which are built into the C++. So when we talk about char, it is a one bit of width, and its range is usually -127 to 127. But when we modify it with unsigned char, size remains the same, but it becomes unsigned, so only the positive values are included. But you would think if only the positives are included, it should be 0 to 127. No, but because the size remains the same, the range has to be, the amount of numbers the range can store has to be the same. So just doubles the positive value to 2 to 5 and it still stores the same amount of numbers, but you can use bigger numbers in the positives on the positive side of the number line. So if you use signed, the same thing as char, so it's not really that useful, but it's still a data type modifier. Talking about integer, there's 4 bytes and this is its range. It's pretty difficult to say, so you can just read it. Unsigned just goes to the positive part of the number line and doubles the range of the positive side. Same thing for signed. So when you use short, if you want to save memory, you have limited amount of RAM and you want to process faster, use short, so it reduces the range of the integer to 32,000 and it helps in processing the compiler faster. If you use unsigned, it's still short, small range, but just in the positive direction. Signed has the same function as any other signed data type. Long int and int do not have any specific difference, but if you want to use a floating point value which is bigger than the normal float and smaller than double, you can use float double, long float, which will increase your range to maybe 10 digits in the float and you can save some memory there. Long double doesn't do much because that is a limit to how much the compiler can store. So this was a quick overview on data types and the data type modifiers, their range and their sizes. So this will be everything we will be learning in today's tutorial. If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments section below. I will try to answer as soon as possible. You can if you want regular updates, you can subscribe my channel. You can also follow the channel's Twitter handle. I will leave a link in the description. If you tweet anything, I'll make sure to reply. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you guys in the next video.